right now, there's a lot of shit going on in the world, and I just want to tell a story from my youth, my childhood, that I hope will bring people together. It's a story with bits of humor, seriousness, and all kind of shit mixed in, so I hope y'all fuck with it. But one year for Thanksgiving, I want to say I was like 13 or 14 years old, and we was at my grandma on my mom's side house, and my granny came out from the kitchen and she was like, hey, I need everybody in the living room. So we all come in the living room. My granny make us shut the TV off, you know. She got something to tell us. So she like, hey, I just want y'all to know y'all cousin is coming, and I don't know if he coming as him or as her. So y'all don't say shit. But when she say y'all don't say shit, my granny is looking at me and my older brother, and so we look at each other, we like, what you looking at us for? And she was like, cause I know you two motherfuckers, y'all to say something. So we kind of like laugh it off and shit, and then, you know, my granny just basically tell us all like, hey, just make sure y'all show them a good time or whatever. So we like, all right, cool. So we cut the TV back on. My granny sent me and my brother outside to wait on my cousin to come. But the crazy shit is, we don't know if he coming as him. We don't know if he coming as her. And my granny house was the house in the neighborhood where everybody kicked it at. From my mama and my auntie and them friends, to my brother and my uncle and them friends, to just the people in the neighborhood, because my granny had been in the neighborhood for so damn long. Nigga, everybody came to my granny house. Birthdays, holidays, shit every day. Niggas respected my granny, niggas respected my pawpaw. Niggas knew the house rules. If you acted up, you got the fuck out. Wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was what it was. But everybody loved my family, and everybody especially loved my granny. So it wasn't nothing new for people to just show up at the holidays and shit. So me and my brother outside, and my cousin come. But my cousin dressed as her, but we don't know that at the time the girl that we talking to is my cousin. Cause, you know, I hope he resting in peace, but man, Big Cuz was a convincing woman at the time for early to mid 2000s, whatever year that was. Cause like I said, I was like 13 or 14, I think. But he walked up, you know, he dressed as her, or maybe I should be saying she. So she walked up and she like, is this so-and-so house? And we like, yeah. This where they having Thanksgiving dinner? And we like, yeah. We like, look, just go inside, introduce yourself, and grab your plate, and then just find you somewhere to sit. So my cousin walk in the house and shit. Me and my brother still outside. We not thinking that the female we just talked to is our cousin that our grandmother just said he could come as him or he could come as her. Not to mention, he was kind of tall. Like, Cuz had to be like 6 feet on the nostril, wearing like 3-4 inch wedge heels with a ruby red wig, a spaghetti strap shirt, and some capri pants. I never forget this outfit, because I'm like, dude too tall for that. He looked like Lisa Leslie's little sister. Like, I never forget this. And so my granny come outside like 5-10 minutes later, and my granny like, did y'all cousin come? And we like, no, but that tall ass girl just walked in. And my granny started laughing. I never forget it. She laughed, and she pushed her glasses up on her forehead. And she was like, that tall ass girl is y'all cousin, fools. And so me and my brother looked at each other, and we just laughed and shit. And it wasn't no different than any other holiday at my granny's house. The food was bomb as shit. My granny, my auntie babe, my mama, they did their thing. My granny with the fucking desserts, oh my god, the pies was fucking amazing like always. I think I got in trouble that year too for like trying to sneak a piece of a pie. before everybody had even got their food and shit, like before we prayed over Thanksgiving. But fuck it was worth it. If my granny was cooking, I'd take an ass whooping for like trying to go get my food early, because my granny was the bombest cook ever in life. And I remember talking to my granny like 3 weeks after that Thanksgiving, because it was after Thanksgiving, but it was before my granny and my mama's birthday, because my granny was born on Christmas Eve, and then one year she had my mama on Christmas Eve. And I used to mess with my granny and be like, so you thought it was a great idea to have a kid on your birthday, huh? And I remember my granny would just laugh, and I'd be like, for real, like you couldn't have planned this out no better. You just wanted to have a kid on your birthday. And my granny would just laugh and tell me to go somewhere. But I remember talking to my granny, and my granny was like, I said, Granny, you know, how did our cousin like Thanksgiving or whatever? And she was like, oh, he loved it. But the way my granny was talking was like he expected it to be something different. So I was like, Granny, can I ask you a question? And she was like, yeah, what's up? I said, why it sound like he thought that we was gonna treat him different? And that's when my granny broke it down to me. She was like, well, to be honest, he did think it could be different. And I was like, well, why? And my grandmother proceeded to tell me that my cousin and his dad had an estranged relationship, and they wasn't always cool with each other. And my granny was telling me that when my cousin came out the closet, him and his dad didn't speak for a minute. And then when they did get cool, his dad died like not too long after that. And when his dad got sick and was dying, his stepmom had actually backdoored and wrote him out of his dad's will. So when he died, he didn't get shit from his dad's estate. And his stepmom basically stopped talking to him because I guess you could say he was gay / transgender, which was, you know, the anti-version of what his stepmom stood for. So he really didn't have no family that he had a relationship with. And somehow he had just happened to end up getting in touch with my grandmother and speaking to her. And, you know, he just wanted to be around family. And my grandmother was like, come through, you know, you family, so you good over here. And so at the end of the conversation with my grandmother, I was like, well, invite him to Christmas, invite him to your birthday. Because for as long as I can remember, we'd do Christmas Eve at my mama's house and we'd do Christmas Day at my granny's house. And my granny was like, I can't invite him to Christmas. And I was like, what you mean you can't invite him to Christmas? And she was like, I can't invite him to Christmas. I was like, Granny, yes, you can. She was like, no, I can't. I was like, Granny, all you gotta do is pick up the phone, dial the number, and invite him. And she was like, talk to me like that again and I'll fuck you up. And I was like, yes, ma'am. And I was like, but for real, why you can't invite him? And she was like, cause he dead. And I remember like freezing up. And I'm like, what you mean he dead? We just saw him like 2 weeks ago. Which, you know, every day ain't promised. And even finishing out one day that you get, that shit ain't promised. Like, you could be watching this right now, alive and well, and you could be dead tonight type shit. And at that time in my life, like, I hadn't really dealt with a whole lot of death that was close to me like that. I don't think I really had dealt with a whole lot of death, period. But I remember my granny being like, yeah, he died. And I was like, what you mean? Like, we just seen him. And my granny was like, yeah, well, when we seen him, he actually wasn't doing too good. He had got AIDS / HIV from his boyfriend, and he ended up dying not that long after Thanksgiving. And I remember being like, damn, because the shit really like fucked me up for real. Because I damn sure ain't know nobody that had AIDS or HIV or been around on shit of that nature that was that serious. But the shit really fucked me up because that was my lesson in humility and how to treat people. That was like the biggest lesson in how to treat people I think I ever got, because to me, being juvenile and immature at that time, yeah, you might laugh at certain shit. Like, you might make jokes, especially because of how society was back then and whatnot. You just say little off the cuff shit, but you don't really know no better. You saying shit just because you ain't been exposed to it. But because that was family, because of the way my granny introduced them to all of us and how she brung them in, shit, that's family, it's love. I mean, I'm not finna go against my granny because I want to fucking get a joke off her. I want to be immature. But ever since that day, like, it made me look at like gay people and just people that are different than me different. Like, ever since then, I've been exposed to gay people. I've been exposed to lesbians, transgenders, all kind of stuff. And some are close friends, some's like family, some have taught me great life lessons. I remember being like 20, 23, 24, working in downtown Houston, Texas, in a hotel, and I had a gay coworker, and I said, "Hey bro, can I ask you a question?" And he was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And I was like, not being funny, cuz, but did you always know you was gay? Or like, what was that like, coming out and being accepted and shit? And he was like, to be honest, bro, I knew I was gay from a little kid. He was like, coming out, that shit was kind of rough, cause, you know, he from the South, his family very religious and all that good stuff. And he said, but when his dad finally accepted him as gay, he said, okay, you might be gay, but I ain't raising no bitch. So you not finna be out here in these streets being gay and getting punked all the time. So my coworker said that his daddy literally put him in like boxing and martial arts to make sure that if it ever was a time where he needed to defend himself, he could fight and defend himself. And I was like, bro, I can't even be mad at that story. I was like, I'm glad that shit worked out for you how it did, and you here, and you ain't like have to deal with one of them horror story ass situations where, you know what I'm saying, you want to off yourself behind that shit. But the fact that your pops fuck with you and y'all got a cool relationship, you know what I'm saying, I'm happy for you, my nigga, because it don't work like that for everybody. Because all I could think about at the time when the homie was telling me this story was my cousin that I met at Thanksgiving. And so the reason why I bring this shit up now is because I just want to let y'all niggas know, if you different than what the quote-unquote norm is, don't even worry about that shit. We all different in some way. We all different to somebody. Like, you know what I'm saying? Embrace your uniqueness. Embrace what make you different. And love that shit. Run with it. Because, shit, if you look at me, if you see me out in public, I'm short, I'm black, I'm fat, I'm fucking dark-skinned as some. My fucking girlfriend Mexican. My kids is biracial. Like, it is what it is. That's different as fuck to some people. Especially people that, you know what I'm saying, they think all races should just stay segregated into themselves. They don't think races should be integrated and people should be mingling and all that shit. But at the end of the day, for everybody that's different, embrace that shit and run with it. For everybody that can't deal with people being different, you need to educate yourself in a whole lot of shit, but especially tolerance and accepting people's differences. Because just because somebody different to you don't mean that they a shitty individual. Because it could be somebody that you think is cool as fuck just because they the same as you, but that person turned out to be a shitty individual. Hey, it's 2022. if anything came out of coronavirus and this bullshit ass pandemic that we still dealing with the effects of, motherfuckers gotta learn, bro. Make more friends and more allies than fucking enemies. Cause at the end of the day, we all gonna need somebody to get through this shit. If you think you could deal with the stresses of life by your motherfucking self, you a goddamn fool. And on my mama, on my kids, hell, on my life. It don't take nothing away from you to show somebody else love. Just because you give somebody a compliment or pay them a random act of kindness, it don't take away from who you are or what you are. Everybody is somebody to somebody else. Love.